Hello, I clicked the right button again. I always click the wrong button. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are playing Worlds Without Number tonight. We are continuing our sci fantasy adventure that we have titled Welcome to the Husk, a old, ancient mega city on an alien planet somewhere where a bunch of different species have found themselves taking refuge for reasons. And some of those people you can see on the screen here. We've got three tonight. Logan couldn't be with us again, but he is here in spirit, and his wonderful tokens you can see underneath the smiling faces of the people playing as his artwork. Awesome. Let's see. Before we get going, we let's plug a few other things. We have been playing other games. We usually play Fridays, Saturdays, and Mondays. Fridays, we've been running through Delta Green, Impossible Landscapes. You can come check that out. Saturdays tend to be our Worlds Without Number game, though we're probably switching up pretty soon and doing something new. And then Monday, we're starting up Ultraviolet Grasslands, which will alternate with our Alien game. So we tend to have about 4 games running at the same time, and you can catch all that stuff over at our YouTube channel. If you've missed a game, or if you want to kind of go back to the beginning, you caught us like midway through a run or something, I would love for you to go ahead and do that. With that out of our way, other things. I guess, yeah, Melissa and I can catch us over on Defenders of Cobalt a lot. Tomorrow night I'll be over on Steam Still Murder, playing in a Shadowrun game. Tuesdays I'm always on Garblag games as we're doing some Call of Cthulhu. So lots of fun games all around. And that's about it. So let's introduce the characters. Just say who you're playing, and what did you do when you got home? Because we just returned home after a fairly long hex crawl out to a lake several miles to the east. You all returned and initiated some little projects that you're kind of working on, these personal projects. So first up is Ashley. Who are you, and what are you trying to accomplish with your life?
Oh, that's a deep question. My name's Octavia. I'm trying to start an enclave, one day eventually. And when I got home, I left the apartment, not like officially, but I was being dramatic, and I got an apprenticeship with this cool Huskorg. His name is Stone, and his shop is called Stone
Stone
Shop.
Shop. Stone Shop.
Yeah, and then at the
Yeah.
end there we found his basement's haunted
Yeah. Yeah, his
by the
basement
creepy
is
yellow gremlin.
haunted. Yeah, they actually have a name. I don't think you guys have learned them yet, though, because you never
We
actually
haven't.
fought them. You saw them, but you didn't fight them. You
He
fought some other
taunted
things.
me.
It's true. He kind of laughed at you, and then he kind of moved
Yeah.
on. Uh, okay. Next up, we have Long. Who are you, and what are your plans in life?
Yes, I'm playing Vice, and recently I've been looking for a space to build a facility into researching this X's disease that's been spreading. So I met Father Tilly and struck a deal with him. I just pretty much have to get more followers.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, like they'll give you a space within the Dead God Ministries to the south of the city. However, you have to basically recruit them. You have to as they're laying there dying, you have to speak the word of the blood god that you follow that orbits the planet on which you're on, and yeah, that's what you
Completely
do.
free of choice.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we'll help you, but let me tell you a little bit about the blood god. Cool, cool, cool. And then finally, we've got Melissa. Who are you? And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
So I'm playing Sonenka. She is a Sidowan Beastmaster Vowed. Um, in 10 years, she will hopefully have met her goals. So Usa will be taken care of, either dead or
Your brother.
just, completely, lost his name and his business. And I would have convinced my brother and sister-in-law to move um, out of Husk and kind of out into the neighboring areas, and be hanging out with a niece or nephew coming.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. 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 So yeah, let's sort of recap a little bit then last ep, which was a little bit of a downtime ep that we have been doing intermittently here and there in between longer hex crawls. You all returned to the city. All of you took on various gigs like you all mentioned. A few of you were kind of sick. So Sonika had been infected with some mites that were storing up in her throat. Our other friend Burdock had a similar issue in his spine, and you all were able to take care of that. You also, I believe, Vice, you took some samples of them. You have like some of them in a jar or something like that. If you ever wanted to do anything with them, and you all went about your business of trying to, kind of advance your own interests here and there. Octavia, you met with Ruvala, who has been a ally of yours, or ally or employer of some kind, a Prusny, kind of tall, skinny, like kind of gray alien type, who has been giving you jobs here and there for money ever since your homes were destroyed when something with a satellite fell from the sky. And you learned that there were something going on at the docks. There was some kind of kerfuffle between the Iron Tilla, which is a faction, like a naval faction of like merchant marines that often do like various deliveries from Big Husk to other settlements around the coast and the planet. And they were having some kind of conflict, and that was somehow impacting Ruvala's business, and he was kind of upset about that. Vice, you heard because you're near it, down in Rockfall, which is like the southern plateau. If you recall, Big Husk has these two very tall plateaus atop which there are various buildings as well. One of them is called Rockfall. One of them is called Gemtop. And you learned that one of your neighbors, the Gutter Witches, had been doing some weird like techno spellcraft, and like may or may not have opened a singularity there, and kind of, and sort of broke some of the defensive perimeter on the southern side of the city. And then Sonika, you went and tried to sow some rumors to flush out USA, like you said. And do you remember how you went about doing that?
So I was talking to a bartender.
That's correct.
And was trying to see if I can get him to kind of share some of this, information with folks that come in. And what he shared is that he's got this, kind of special booze that he sells there, but he hasn't been able to have access to it because of said kerfuffle with the Iron Tilla at the docks.
And the name of that bartender was Xenia, and they worked at the Thrash House, which is a heavy metal joint in the Record District, where I think Octavia and Sonika live. Vice is in a different district. So at the end of the session, you all were over by Stone Shop. I think it was Sinenka and Vice went to go pick up Octavia, who was doing her work as she is now an apprentice to another craftsman, a Husk-Ward, a walrus man named Stone.
And she got a nickname.
And she did. Pebble is her nickname. And as you guys were leaving, you saw, and Stone had mentioned that like his basement was haunted, and he was scared about going down there. And as you guys were leaving, you saw a small yellow flickering gremlin-like creature in the staircase that goes down to the basement. So we'll pick up right around there. The gremlin flickered out of existence. You don't see it anymore. What do you all feel like doing? Like, do you all want to take care of this now, or do you want to go and deal with the issues on the dock?
I think we'll take care of the dock first, I think.
Yeah, didn't we purchase Sinenka for a couple days? Or not Sinenka, Octavia.
Yeah, you guys did.
Yeah.
We bought your time.
Good. Okay. So you want to give all right. So you all as Stone watches you all pause for a minute by the door, and he sees you all leave. And so you decide to head out, and you'll be back later. Okay. You step out onto the streets of the Record District, or excuse me, of the manufactory. which is sort of like the industrial district of the city, where a lot of the old infrastructure of this ancient species that inhabited here, some of it's still intact, some of it's still functional, some of it's been repurposed in different ways. You know that you're heading just to the west to the Middle Wharf, which is kind of a cliffside district where there are a variety of shops and hawkers and people who are gunk divers who are kind of go out into the water and do diving and find like various scrap out in the water, and they bring it back here and they try to sell it. You also know that this is also the kind of the centerpiece for where like water treatment happens, where there's these large kind of filtering centers called the hydro stacks, where you can see like various massive water crawlers, these huge snails that are kind of their nautical like shells are filled up with water, and then like the water crawlers move around the city filling up various reservoirs. This is where it all comes from. These huge pipes that are, you know, as big as thick and round as like a house are kind of crisscrossing all over the place, but mostly they dip down and they go down the side of a cliff, as the entirety of Big Husk, the city, is up on a fairly high cliff above the water, the Gunkwater Gulf to the west, and you can see that these huge pipes kind of drift down as well. When you get into Middle Wharf, I would say all of you have probably been here before. There's no reason you wouldn't have at some point been through here in your time living here. You would know that kind of the most active neighborhood is Liftwater Circle, which is right next to a massive lift, this Magno lift that kind of goes up and down, this huge elevator that goes up and down the side of the cliff, down to the drowning docks, where various ships come in and unload and load their various goods. And Liftwater Circle has like shops and bars and hawkers, gunk divers selling scrap at stalls. There's folks that are trying to recruit fishing crews and exploration crews, people like they're trying to sign up folks who want to explore and circumnavigate this new alien planet that you've all found yourselves on. You know that there is also kind of a more residential-like neighborhood called the Hollow Cliff, which is where a bunch of caves and such are on the northern cliffside, where a variety of people tend to live, usually folks who kind of work in the water. They just go halfway up the elevator. They use these weird makeshift stairs and pulley systems to kind of get over to their homes. It's kind of like think of it like a beach bum a beach bum area where there's just like old salty sailors and things like that that live over there. But you guys find your way into the Liftwater Circle. The day is moving about as it normally does. You see that there are two massive water crawlers, cargo crawlers, these huge snails. It is an indigenous species to the planet, and they get bigger and bigger. Their shells just get bigger and bigger, and although they move very slowly, they are very, very benign. They don't hurt anybody, and they tend to be used quite regularly for this kind of detail. But yeah, how do you want to handle this? What do you want to do?
Yeah, so Nika, remind me how much we're trying to get.
Jeff, did I get a particular amount that we were looking for? Just
not in no.
thing?
I mean, so there's basically two things that might be of interest to you here. One is you're specifically looking to try to get into a warehouse where a bunch of goods have been effectively quarantined from a specific Irontilla ship. Irontilla ships are kind of like ironclad ships. They're sort of like half submarine, half ship, and they kind of drive around. They're like the water salvagers of the area. And you know that there's one of the warehouses down in the drowning docks apparently has some stuff from that ship. Then the second thing, Octavia, you learned from Ruvala that there is another Irontilla ship that won't make port because of this like quarantine thing that's happening. It seems that some of the people in power, so the kind of the Cabochon, the gem people who run the town, it seems that they like there's a rumor that this Exus disease that's beginning to plague the town is being blamed on the Irontilla, which makes no sense to anybody with a brain, anybody with so something is strange, something's off about it, because the Exus disease is something that's been appearing within the waste districts for a while now, and it's just more recently been coming into the city. So it's
There's
weird
a benefit to somebody that it's being blamed on the Irontilla.
Yeah, so there's something. I mean, you all are smart enough to realize. Well, I mean, Vice and Seneca are probably smart enough to realize there's something ulterior going on. Gotcha. So yeah, so just kind of talk it out. Like, how do you want to go about this?
So, what's the like alliance like with Irontilla? Are they like a huge place?
If you're on the hex map. If you look off to the northwest in the water, like there's 3 islands there that let me go ahead and get people here. So there's these 3 islands off to the northwest where like the Irontilla kind of makes their home. Think of these like our version of like pirates or something like that, right? So like these are people like a merchant fleet that essentially scour the ocean for scrap. Hey Pat, what's going on? Worlds without number today for us. Let's see. Okay, so like if you look over here to the west, like these things is kind of where they're from, and it's just this huge fleet of people who are just good at sailing the oceans, and they have various technologies that allow them to dive beneath the ocean, hit the ocean floors, pick up whatever kind of scrap is down there, and then they kind of bring it back for sale. But since they're also their own little fleet, they sometimes, they run goods like up to Bramble Country to the north, down to Big Husk in the south. So a few of the known locations where there's folks that actually do trade and do import exporting. Now, up until recently, it's been a friendly alliance because there's things that Big Husk can provide them, and there's things that Irontilla can provide them, and so everything's been fine. But something recently, specifically surrounding this one quarantine ship, has kind of caused things to go a little sour.
Okay, so it seems like they're being, as you're saying, like they're being prevented from docking and pretty much delivering their goods. So I was on the idea of like maybe we can get some sort of salvage ship, make our way out to that isolated Irontilla ship, maybe like somehow smuggle the goods in.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely sounds like a plan. I like it.
Yeah.
And that'll certainly address the issues with Ruvala. Maybe it might also address the issues with Xenia if you can get if it depends on what's on that hold. Like Xenia specifically referenced a warehouse that they think that their stuff is at.
Yeah.
But it didn't sound, it's always possible there could be extra stuff on some of these other ships. It all depends on what they've been harvesting. Okay, so we've got a goal. Grab a ship, get out to that other Irontilla vessel that's out west past the Gunkwater. So then, now the question becomes, how do we do that?
So we just go maybe scout around these wharf area, look for some sort of connections, people that are willing. So maybe some shady people.
Okay, so you're looking for some shady people who might also have a boat.
So we're looking to borrow, not steal?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so it sounds like a connect roll. What isn't Vice? So let's just establish how effective you are at finding people.
Vice,
so
shady people?
The minimum is going to be, the minimum DC obviously is going to be a 6, but if you can get higher, then if you can go 8 or 10 or something like that. So the higher you do, we'll say there might be some bonuses to that. So I like to do that kind of scaling, non-binary solutions to things. So connect sounds like the skill you're asking for. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know, one of the mental skills. So charisma, if you think it's just your personality. If it's intellect, meaning your ability to kind of understand who might have something. Or wisdom, like knowing which of these neighborhoods to go to within Liftwater Circle. So it's up to you.
Yeah, I'd like to try some int here.
Okay. So connect int is what we're after. Okay.
Out of 7.
So you are told. I mean, like you ask around a little bit. You hit some of these stalls where there's what are called, basically gunk divers. They're people who literally go down into this water. The gunk water gulf, which is what it's called because it's gross. Like the water is just brackish and disgusting, and it's hard to see anything. There's at least immediately off the cliff shore there's sunken buildings. Like it's like something has been flooded over. There's been buildings that were down there, and like the water level has risen significantly over time. And you know that there's people who literally dive down and try to explore and find salvage and find treasure and all that kind of stuff and bring it back to sell. You spend a little time around the stalls trying to get a bead on who amongst this group might be most effective. Idiots is another word for them. That's right, Bert. And you come across what looks like a fairly brawny looking human with some strange rashes all over his skin, sunburned as best you can tell, like hair kind of patchy and falling out at times. Your medical opinion is perhaps this individual has been exposed to something by doing all this diving. And there's this stall that they have, and they're selling what looks like these old devices, these handheld devices that don't seem to have any power to them. And when you walk up, they're like, "Okay, anybody who wants one of these fish finders, they are. You go ahead and it's 20 scrap a piece. Hey, you there, young man, bony fella. You've got need of a fish finder. 20 scrap. 20 scrap. If you buy 2, 35 scrap it is. Go ahead and give you a going rate on 2. You have a backup fish finder, so if the first fish finder breaks, you got the second one to find other fish with.
Fish finder, does it do exactly what it sounds like?
It certainly does. That's 100%. It finds fish. Yes, it does. 40 scrap, please. I'll tell you what, I'll sweeten the deal. If you don't want just 2, I can go ahead and throw in some of these beautiful shells here.
And he just has like this big old like glass display of what are effectively just dirty looking seashells. They have some strange staining on them, which you realize is likely like oil stains and things like that. They do have, they're kind of attractive looking, but he's not particularly good at displaying them and selling them properly.
I'll pick one up and maybe take a look, see if I can understand.
Oh, you've got a good eye there, sir. That one I found not more than 2 miles off the coast. I just went down, I did. I was down beneath the waves, beneath the waters for, must have been 2 hours. I found myself a domed structure. It was beautiful, it was. Golden walls, golden ceiling. If I was stronger, if I had the equipment, I could take it all back up with me. Now, you wouldn't happen to be interested in investing in water salvage, would you, sir?
It's possible I have a crew interested in this.
A crew? Okay, crew, I see. You want to... Are you just looking to buy my knowledge of the place, or are you trying to cut old Jimmy out?
No, of course not. If you know anything that's more off the waters, if you catch my drift.
Gotta tell you, I don't think I do. What are you trying to say to me here? Are you buying the damn shells, or are you buying the fish finders, or what?
I can pay for these shells.
Okay.
The shells, that's an extra 20 scrap. That's 60 scrap. You've got 2 fish finders, you got a beautiful shell, and you got a lovely morning.
I'm looking for something more than these, though.
Something more? Something specific?
Oh, I want to explain pretty much some sort of lingo. I guess they know.
Okay.
You want to
All right.
sound like a
Okay.
dock worker fisher guy?
You want to use like actual like lingo. Roll a convince and do a convince intelligence to see if you can kind of pick up enough from your time hanging out around the circle. Check him for web toes and gills. Oh
What's
boy.
that?
So you basically convince him that you want to use his services, like his resources, because like you have a lead on something out in the waters off the shore. Like you basically you've heard something, you've found something in the wastes that suggest you've got a map that might lead you to some untouched salvage not too far off the shore. He says,
So, yeah.
Okay, I see your game now. What's my percentage of this? 70? That's just standard going rate, of course.
That's not standard going.
Yeah, that doesn't sound.
Yeah.
What's my cut out of this? What am I getting out of this? If you're getting your precious salvage, I want at least
I'm thinking 35.
35%. Okay, I'll tell you what. You buy the fish finders. You buy every one of these just absolutely ridiculous looking shells. And I'll take your 35%. But I want there to be a minimum. If whatever you find is terrible and it's only worth like 20 scrap, I don't want 35% of 20. I want minimum. I want a minimum. Yeah. You got a deal?
Sounds good. I'll bring out a shack.
Holds out a hand that's got like all sorts of these horrible wounds and looks like barnacles are growing on the back of the wrist. There's like little tiny webbed pieces between his fingers, stuff here and there.
And I'll, in addition to the coins, purchasing these fish finder things, I might be able to help you with that rash. I'll bring out like a random pack of herbs. Just rub this on you for a bit. You might see some improvement.
Okay. Fun. I thought it was just adding character to who I am. But if you say it's not good, I'll go ahead and rub the poultice on me. So how big is your crew and how much lead time we've got?
What was that last part?
How much lead time we've got?
Lead time. We don't have a time limit, do we? I don't remember.
In particular.
No, I mean like
Sooner the better.
yeah, like tonight.
Right. Okay. As soon as tonight, if possible.
Okay, a night dive. It's dangerous, you know. Lots of strange things come out at night in the waters. We can do that. If that's what you want. But I tell you what, 45% if we're doing a night dive.
You know what? That sounds great. The less size, the better.
Okay, 45% it is. Alright, come back to the circle. Nightfall. We'll get you all set up. If you got weapons, bring weapons. You might need them.
We'll see you then.
Alright.
So he packs up his stall and you see him disappear into an alley as if he's going to get some stuff set up. Octavia and Sinenko, what have you been doing?
Rumor mongering.
Okay. All right. So there's all sorts of stuff here. There's like shops. There's like a couple bars here and there, restaurant style things. There's also some more like utility centers and things. Like so you can see there's people who are working. So like, what kind of crowd are you looking to rumor monger within?
I'd like to think that Octavia's pretty well known within the Thrash House crowd, so she's going to peruse the other bars and stuff.
Okay.
And
Okay. So one of the bars, so like, what? Give me a name of a bar that Octavia heads to here in the Middle Wharf. And again, these are all kind of, think of this place sort of like a beach town, coastal town, San Diego type.
Okay. This one is just called Krusty's.
Krusty's.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely not high class.
Okay.
It's kind of just like nasty.
Oh,
right
I
on
like
the wharf.
birds. I like birds. The salty
Ooh.
quadruped.
Can we retcon?
Yeah, we're totally retconning that. The salty
Everybody just calls it the
quadruped.
Q.
Okay.
The
Quadruped.
salty cues.
The salty Q. Okay. The salty
uh,
Q. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Second question. What is the salty Q, the salty quadruped, look like? Like, what's the first thing when you walk up to the front to get inside? What's the front side of this structure, this building look like? What catches your eye? Just like one detail, maybe two.
Just like, it's just kind of like a scrap pile that they've just kind of dug a doorway through. So like, depending on if there's like a storm or something new kind of falls off the pile.
Okay. So
You
it's like a
build it
little
back up
junkyard.
sometimes. Yeah.
It's like a junkyard. There's like stacks of all of the scrap that people find in the waters, try to sell, can't because no one gives a crap about it, and they just
Yeah.
kind of throw it in over here. And there's so
Exactly.
much of it that there's been a bar built up around it at this
Yes.
point. So people have been haphazardly putting together various other furniture for people to sit at and drink from.
Mhm.
Okay. So you head over here. Not a whole lot of people here, but there's probably about a dozen scattered about amongst the various scrap heaps. And you can see there's definitely a weathered feel to it all, where everyone here just looks really burnt out, tired. Like just the sun, the sky is just ripped through them in some ways. You see a few more curious alien folk that you're probably not too familiar with, ones that are probably more akin to water, or more used to kind of being along the shore, being in the water. But you start asking questions. You're just basically, are you looking for just general rumors, or are you looking for something specific?
To start, she is just kind of cruising for just like general rumors or like gossip that's more like located towards the coast. But then eventually she's going to look for specifically what's Iron Tilla, like what's happening with that.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. You can do, I don't know, something like connect, charm, maybe. Yeah, something like that might work. You're just trying to make
Charisma?
yourself. Yeah, I think charisma makes sense in this case. It's more of just trying to get in good with the locals.
Okay, I have.
There's like a steel drum Jimmy Buffett band that's singing right now. Everyone's wearing Tommy Bahama shirts.
You have that like
5.
one person that's going up and doing karaoke.
Yeah, the
Just
same
because.
guy.
Margaritaville over and over and over again. This seems to be a fairly tight-knit crowd, and the speed here is different. And so like when you're here, you see a lot of the people here are older, and they don't like this young Baphomian thrasher coming in here poking her horns into business that just isn't hers. And so you just get a lot of,
why don't you just go back to the other side of the city? We're fine here. Go away. Just get out of here, you stupid goat.
very rude, awful people.
Okay.
All right. Sinenka, what have you been doing in your time here as you're trying to get ready and figure some stuff out for what you're going to do?
Try to go over towards this warehouse area.
Okay.
And so I want to try to basically as if I work for someone who's just it's unacceptable to them that they haven't been able to get kind of the goods that they ordered. So kind of like, I don't own it. I'm just sent down to get answers. If somebody can tell me something that will help me get my boss off my back, kind of a thing.
Okay. So this means you're riding the elevator down, the Mangalith. Because the warehouses in question are down by the drowning docks. So while Vice is talking amongst the various stalls and hawkers and salesfolk, and Octavia is perusing the salty quadruped, you hop on the lift and you head down to the drowning docks. You immediately notice that there's a fairly heavy Huskork presence down here, meaning you're seeing a lot of these Huskork enforcers, the guards and such. They are not as friendly as Stone is. They're not mean necessarily, but they don't really engage you in any kind of specific conversation. Like they're not friendly about it, meaning when you get off the lift, there's people that are kind of checking for business, and you can see there's two Huskorg that are just there. One of them seems to be stopping the people getting off the lift, and one of them seems to be stopping the people that get on the lift. And they look at you as you get off. With amongst a few other people, you wait in a single file line, and you can see around you there's a variety of of buildings down here. A lot of it's ramshackle. You don't really notice a lot of the construction down here looks to be new construction. I mean, it's like scrap and like post-apocalyptic type of like hodgepodge materials.
Mm-hmm.
But they say as you get off and it's coming to your turn, it's like,
What your business here?
you see this like fairly slender looking walrus person.
What's your business?
Boss sent me down here to figure out what the delay is. They spent good money on some stuff and they can't seem to get it, and they're getting kind of pissed off about it. So, looking for some answers.
Well, we ain't got answers here, so go ahead, back up with ya.
Well, who can I speak with that does?
That's a good question. But like I just said, we ain't got answers down here, so back on the lift and up you go.
There's got to be somebody down here that has some sort of answers. If it's not you, there's got to be someone.
If there's someone down here with answers, they certainly haven't told me about any of them. Back on the lift, up you go.
I'm going to see if a couple of coin will get me someone else to talk to.
You gonna try to bribe them?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and roll a convince? And since you're throwing, what is it? Okay, if you want to try for a bonus, what's something specific you want to try to give this this guard at the bottom of the lift that might work for you? What do you think? Is there something in particular in your inventory that you think you would probably want to give over to them? You're like looking them up and down. They're fairly slender looking walrus person. They got these big old teeth. They're hanging down. They got these whiskers that flap around. They're wearing what looks like a fairly patchy chunk of armor, and they've got what looks like a really big curved sword sitting in a harness on their belt. Go ahead, roll a notice. Go ahead and roll a notice whiz to see if you're trying to like kind of assess them, see if there's something you might be able to bribe them with more easily.
13.
Okay, you notice on their belt they have a fairly big pipe, and it looks like there's it's like a metal smoking pipe, and it looks like there's like a pouch. It's kind of hanging near it, which you imagine has got whatever it is that they smoke in it. So, yeah, definitely this looks like someone who would probably maybe go for some special herbs and spices.
Okay. I don't have any of the red stuff on me.
Oh, from the lake?
Yeah, from the lake.
I don't think you guys have done anything with it, so you're welcome to have your share. I don't care. It's fine.
Okay. Then let's just say that I have some of that red herb. And I'll just say, like, I see that you enjoy a puff from time to time. Happened upon something that you maybe haven't Is that a yes?
Let me go ahead and take a whiff of this.
Okay, roll convince charisma, but I'm only gonna want a DC 6 on this because you've managed to. Okay,
Ooh,
there you
got a
go.
7.
And they say,
All right, you give me a patch of that, and I'll tell you what. You can head over to Tummock on the end of the dock down there, and he might have more questions for you. Can't promise answers, but more questions maybe.
you see like
Thank
this
you.
big tongue. So you hand over a bag of whatever this is. He's very excited by it. He's convinced that this is something you don't know if it's something that should be spoken, but he just
I have no idea.
no idea.
He's gonna try
just
it.
like he's gonna hit that shit so hard. Okay, all right. So you move down the docks, and as you look around, you notice the water itself, which you can now see, is dark. You can see it's filled with all these kind of rainbowish reflections from different substances that are mixed with the water. This is not the type of place where you'd probably want to swim much, to the point where you can't really see beneath it. Like you can, it's so thick. It goes down extraordinarily deeply. Periodically, you can see up on the hollow cliffs, like these creatures just kind of swoop out, like these flying creatures that are likely some of these like the mimicry messenger birds that kind of fly around. They make their home up here on the cliffs as well.
So I'm definitely looking. I know you say like it doesn't look like something I want to swim in, but just in case swimming becomes a way to do it, I want to be kind of keeping an eye out for if I were to be swimming, where might I want to, kind of pop my head up and find a way.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. And so you do you follow his instructions, or do you just go wherever you want?
I'll probably go where he said to go. Doing more of a kind of a visual canvas of the area.
Okay.
How far away is where I'm going, where he pointed me to?
Not too far. Like, a couple minutes.
Okay. I might go just a little bit farther past just to see how good, whether I kind of get redirected quickly or if I have a little bit of roaming.
It seems one of those situations where once you get past the guards, like you kind of have some freedom. Because if you're on the docks, they probably have cleared you. Most of what you see, though, are people kind of getting in these small, like tiny boats, and they're like going off to do various diving and fishing excursions. You see some boats that are anywhere from like being able to hold 2 or 3 people to some that maybe could hold a dozen. There's nothing too fancy. You do, however, notice one Iron Tilla ship that's off in the direction of where this Tummock was that you're supposed to be going to see, that has a decently large Husk presence. There's at least 6 enforcers that are nearby, along with one Emerald Cabochon, so a green crystalline leadership of the city.
And would that be intriguing to me that Iron Tilla and Cabochon would be together?
No.
Okay.
Standard. There's not that many of these like gem creatures, but they are kind of in charge. And most people put them in charge simply because they've been here the longest and they're smart, supposedly. And the Huskorg are here a very long time as well, but they're not smart, but they're big and brawny and infantile in some ways, and have over the course of time looked to the Cabochon almost as like a parental figures, that are guiding them some way. Like some people assume that the Cabochon are just sort of like taking advantage of them. Others are, not necessarily as cynical about it, but certainly there's arguments to be made on both sides there.
So is this something that I might be able to kind of meander in that direction and possibly eavesdrop? Or
it is the exact direction you were pointed to by the guard.
Then that's what I would like to attempt some eavesdropping.
Okay. So you head over, and there's it looks like there's like a small workspace that's been sent up. You see that there is a warehouse that's near where the Iron Tilla ship is. This floating metal mass, this dark metal with some patches of lighter bits, some rusted bits, some light metal here and there. You see these huge pipes that are coming up out of it as well. But you can see that there's nobody that's going onto this ship, and it's being completely blocked by two enforcers. You also see that the warehouse that's off to the side is being blocked and cordoned off by not just enforcers, but you see this, like, think of it like holographic ticker tape that's like this sort of kind of small, thin line. It's kind of being used as something of a barrier that's surrounding the entry points into the main door of this warehouse. Roll a notice whiz. There's not a whole lot of conversation that you can necessarily eavesdrop on, but I'll say roll a notice whiz, and we'll do kind of like what can glean.
8.
Okay. There are windows in this warehouse, and you can see that there's people moving about in them. They look to be kind of mixed species. Some humanoids. Looks like there's some Nindarians, and looks like there's a couple other folk. You would guess that they're likely the crew of this Iron Tilla ship. All right, I'm gonna move back over to let you think on that for a bit. Okay. Vice, you spent some time speaking with speaking with Jimmy, and you've got a plan. So later tonight, you're gonna come back and you're gonna meet this guy. You're gonna give him 45% of whatever salvage or something you get, but you've got a plan in place. How effective or good he is at his job, who knows? But what would you like to do now? Look around. You don't see Octavia. You don't see Sinenka necessarily. Maybe you all said where you were going to go, and so you might have an idea that Sinenka's down by the docks and Octavia is in the bar. But what would you like to do now?
Are the warehouses around here at all?
Warehouses are down by the docks. You have to take the lift down to the water.
Okay. Then I'll be interested in if the Iron Till gets goods from here at all, to see if like they're allowed to have things, but they're not able to get them, sort of deal.
Okay, so you're just doing like rumor mongering again, trying to just ask.
Yeah, just find out if like they need materials from here that they aren't able to get.
Why don't you just roll a no int, and this is or no whiz. This is probably just information you might know having lived here.
9.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay, so you know that generally there's a couple different trade groupings, and the three big receivers. It's like a triangle. There's Bramble Country to the north, which is like this. As far as everyone knows, no one's really been up there. You've never been up there yourself. It's kind of a settlement of people who are dwelling within a very large forest, and so they're able to provide things like wood, seeds, and other kind of naturalistic goods. Then there's the Iron Tilla, which are essentially like they're salvagers, but they also have a fairly large portion of fisher folk, so they provide things like water or sea salvage, but they also provide like fish and food and kind of seaweed salvage, things like that. And then there's Big Husk itself, which is the largest kind of the sort of depository of ancient tech, people who understand how ancient tech works. And usually what's happening is that the way that the Big Husk is sustaining itself and the Cabochon Hunter is sustaining itself is by essentially trading away like good ancient tech salvage for various seeds and other things that they can then use. You also would know that recently the one of the farming platforms that rotate above the city was knocked asunder by the falling satellite, meaning only 2 of the 3 are now floating. So there's probably going to be at some point a food shortage that might be happening around here. And so the Iron Tilla is usually getting either getting tech from here or some sort of other resources that they might need to help with like the reparation of the repairing of their ships and things like that.
Okay. So yeah, just in case, I want to like I guess gather some of those things that they find, supplies they find valuable, to like have the option of like trading their goods for ours, sort of thing.
So you just want to go and just buy some potentially useful tech that they might get. Okay. So then why don't you do a craft, since this kind of has to do with figuring out what type of things they might then turn into gear that they can either repair their ships with or something like that. So roll a craft and then like pick one of the either int or whiz, whatever you prefer.
All right.
Okay.
An 8.
How much scrap do you want to spend?
You do 100.
All right. So you go around, you spend some time, get a little shopping basket, and you go around to some of the hawkers and try to distinguish the trash from the useful product that you might then use to trade with members of the Iron Cheetah. Fair enough. Octavia, you were shot down in your attempts to learn anything inside the salty quadruped. Young millennials, they said.
I know, too young.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at that point, Octavia would want to get down on the docks. So, are they letting people fly down at all, or no?
So you would probably know that flying is something that you kind of have a license for in town. So like there's specific people who are allowed to do it, and I don't think you would have it. And it's mainly reserved for like the various messengers. Like there's this one species that it's very small. They're like a little swarm of like these flying bird-like creatures that are often running messages from the various towers in the plateaus around the city. Because the city is several miles wide and tall and vertically as well. So unless you are specifically like kind of cleared for it, expected to, it could be met with some problems. Not saying you couldn't try. You certainly can, but it could net you into some trouble.
Okay. And then if I knew that I'd need a license, then I would just take the lift down.
Okay.
But before I go, I would like to try and acquire like a fishing pole.
Yeah, that's easy enough. That's no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, there's plenty of that.
Yeah.
So go ahead and we'll say super cheap, 7 scrap. Not even a dent in your wallet.
You rolled 4d6 and got a 7?
I did. I rolled a 1, a 3, a 2, and a 1. Pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Good for me.
Is it? Maybe it's a crappy fishing pole. I'm going to take it out on you later. Okay, so you go down to the docks. You're met with the same issues that we describe as Seneca. And I will fast forward the Husk Horde. It's just like, what are you going to do to try to get past this Husk Horde?
So he's not going to let me go down just to fish and look for sea glass?
Well, you have to sort of convince him that that's what you're going to do.
Oh, okay. So Octavia just kind of stands there, and she's got because she's got like a sort of fabric sash that's kind of like a sack across her chest, and she kind of looks at him and she's like, "Hi, I'm with Stone Shop, and I'd like to surprise Stone with some sea glass. Is there a direction that you could recommend I go?"
Roll luck. Let's see if they know Stone. If you succeed on this, they might know Stone.
I mean, he is fantastic.
Stone's pretty baller.
Oh no!
But they don't know Stone.
Oh.
They don't know Stone. Different.
We
They just
have
run in
3
different
rerolls
circles.
left over, just in case.
Oh, we have 3. Yeah, if you want to reroll it, go ahead.
Yeah, because Stone's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Okay.
Success.
Stone, you know Stone.
I'm his new apprentice.
You're Pebble.
Yes.
He has spoken of you at our weekly poker games, and I did not know that you were not Huskorg.
That's why I'm Pebble, because I'm pretty small.
And you see like light just.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I tell you what. I will let you go, but I owe Stone scrap.
Okay.
If maybe you could give me part of what you find to give to Stone and say, or you give to Stone and say it's from me, so I no longer have debt.
How much scrap is it that you owe?
345.
Oh wow. I might
Stone
not
is
have-
very good at poker.
Yes, I could definitely contribute, but probably not that whole amount because I don't think I can hold that much.
Okay. Okay. Some, though.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. I am on till dark. So come. If you want back up without problem, leave before dark.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Do you have a recommendation, best location for some sea glass?
No.
No.
I-
All right. I'll
I am
wander
just a
around.
guard. I just bop people on head when they don't do what we say.
Gotcha. Well, thank you. What's your name?
Me? I
Yeah.
am Mulrek.
Molrek.
Yeah.
Molrek. Well, it's a pleasure meeting you.
What?
Do you ever go to the Thrash House?
Yes, I do.
I
Oh,
love
God.
the Thrash House.
Such good place. Super cozy. Yes.
That kind of holds up.
Yeah. And then like that's when Octavia pulls out of her shirt her big old like medallion that she bought.
Wow. That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
All right. Well, I'll let you get to work.
Okay. So you go off. Okay, roll a notice whiz then, really quick. We'll see if you see Sun and Ka.
Okay. I love the Husk work.
Yeah.
Owen's great.
They're just I don't know, man. Like I just
10.
like walrus people. I just like every shit. I
Yeah.
love walrus people. I'm sorry. I want to be a walrus. I like that movie Tusk. Okay. Yeah, you notice Sonika. She seems to be.
The movie Tusk.
I do like the movie Tusk. Sonika, it's gross, but I like Sonika. Not as heartfelt and sweet as.
I don't want to talk about how many times I've seen that movie.
That's weird. One is definitely enough. That's pretty much it. You don't really need to do it again. Sonenka is currently kind of walking around by what looks like an Iron Tilly ship, a warehouse, a capuchon, some enforcers and things. You can tell she's trying to be sneaky about it. She doesn't know if other people have noticed her or not, but you have.
Yeah. I don't think I would go to her immediately just because we're both kind of outsiders and I don't want us to immediately group up.
Okay.
And
oh no, there's other people here. Like there's I mean anyone who's like properly let through, you can see there's boats out in the water, like small little rickety boats and stuff, and there's all sorts of people here. Like it's not like it's just the people in charge are those, are just like the cabochon and the.
I'll probably start wandering towards the warehouse area, but looking for sea glass.
Fair enough. Sonenka, what have you decided you want to do by this warehouse and with this line of Huskorg and this cabochon person?
So in order for me to get into where kind of the dock worker people are, I would have to get past the people at the door. Is that right?
You're on the docks.
Right, but you said there are worker people inside a building and I was looking through the window.
Yeah, you think that's the quarantine crew of Iron Tilla. That the crew that you have heard has been quarantined here, and they're not let out. Like there's for some reason the Cabochon are keeping the Iron Tilla ship, and they're keeping a crew of them quarantined in a warehouse. You think that's them?
Okay. Sonika is going to think that she's a bit outmanned with this at the moment, so she's going to kind of note where folks are and then go chat with the person that she was directed to go talk to.
Okay.
Timok.
Yeah. So you ask for Timok, and you hear this kind of almost like chimey sing-song voice suddenly waft through the air from the cabochon, the emerald cabochon, who just says, "I am Timok. What can I do for you?"
Well, it's nice to make your acquaintance. I've been sent to gather some information about what exactly the holdup is. There are some folks that have paid a lot of money for items to be delivered, and there's quite a bit of confusion as to why that can't happen.
And who have you been sent by?
I'm going to throw out a name that is Toya.
Okay. You watch as Timok kind of pauses for a moment. Like there's like these sockets where like eyes should be, they kind of like glaze over into like this bright green. And then you see these little strikes of lightning all begin to sort of just radiate through like the crystalline body. And you hear, Toya is not approved for this information regarding the ship behind me. Therefore, you are not approved for that information.
Is there a process for individuals to become approved for that information?
No. We decide.
How much longer do we expect that this is going to be occurring?
The quarantine will last until the safety of Husk and its citizens is in good order. Rest assured.
According to you? Who all is
Yes.
making that decision?
I will.
What exactly is threatening the safety?
That is
Seems to be a
information you
ship
are
of
not approved
goods.
to know. As I've already said. Do you have additional questions?
Is there a way that particular bits of that cargo can be retrieved? Is there an additional cost, perhaps?
Ah, bribery. How quaint. No, there is not. Rest assured, when the goods within the hold of the ship are ready to be released, we will contact those who are on the approved list to receive them. It will not be Toya, because they are not on the approved list.
Well, that's certainly unfortunate. And so my understanding is that the booze is in a warehouse, not necessarily on that ship. That
That's
was
correct.
information from
Mm-hmm.
Xenia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So,
Martine.
I'm sorry?
What about Martine or Usa?
Yeah, Usa probably wouldn't. Martine possibly. What about goods that have already been purchased that are in warehouse
What
that
about
aren't on
them?
the ship? How do we go about obtaining items at the warehouse?
When all items are ready to be released, we will contact those who are approved to receive them. I have said this now 3 times. Do you need to hear it a 4th?
Trying to see if there's any.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could you say it into my good ear?
Right.
Oh, of course, of course. All I Instead, he just whispers, "Taste the rainbow."
Of the names that I know, let me ask you that. Like, of the names that I know, who do I think would be most likely to be in the good graces of the Cabochon? Like when we think of like Martine
jeez.
or Ravala or
Definitely not Ruvala, because you know that Ruvala is more of an up and coming type. Sure. I mean, if any of those two, if either of those two names carried any weight, and you're not sure that either of them do, Martine would probably be the one, because he's at least more of a known commodity.
Okay. Then, Sonenka will, kind of say like, well, I certainly hope this doesn't take too long because, Martine is growing impatient as well.
It would likely go faster if individuals such as yourself would cease interfering. They just blank stare. Now, while this is happening, you notice coming up out of the hold of the Iron Tiller ship, you see one of those like metallic robotic centipede creatures that you've seen before. They're the size of like a large dog, and they come. You see they kind of like crawl out and kind of over the ship, and then they come up onto the dock, and then you can see that like the sort of the bulb light that's like in their front segment begins to kind of glow, and the kind of electrical cascading within the body of the cabochon begins to sort of do the same thing. You think they're communicating with one another, and then after a moment, if you will excuse me, there is something I need to attend to. Please do not be here when I return. Thank you. And they get up and they follow that metallic creature back into the hold of the ship. Okay. Let's go over to Vice. Vice, you've done your shopping. There's still a couple hours before nighttime. What do you want to do?
I think I've done all prep work I need. I'll just I'll put up like recruitment posters for my previous incursion of like the facility building. So I'll just wait until nightfall.
You're going to put up recruitment posters?
Sort of like, I guess if you're in need of help, go here sort of deal.
Okay. All right. And then you're just going to hang around till nightfall?
Yeah.
All right. Octavia, what are you doing?
I am fishing next, as close as I can get without being weird, to the warehouse.
Okay. Roll a survival test. Survive whiz. Let's see if you get anything.
8.
Yeah, you get sea glass. That's probably worth around 60 scrap or so. You get a.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That's like the whole haul that you get.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want to do? So, I mean, at a certain point, you notice Seneca talking with this cabochon and like kind of getting stonewalled a bit.
So I would like to observe the, like, casually while I'm fishing, I like want to just like observe the warehouse to see if I notice like possible points of entry, and if there's like a shift change of like guard.
Notice whiz.
6.
Yeah. Hard to tell with the guards, but you do think that the best way in is probably vertically through the roof.
Okay. Then like after
or underneath in the water and up.
Ugh.
Yeah, but trying to access it anywhere like on the sort of the horizontal plane of the dock would be difficult, but anywhere above or below might be the best way to go.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I would like to, you said there's like Husk and stuff, just kind of like around where Sonenka is.
Yeah, quite a few.
I want to like wander up to one who's kind of on the fringes.
Okay. They look at you. What
Hi.
do you want?
I was just. Are you comfortable answering some questions?
I am not.
Oh, okay. Is there anybody who would be?
Somebody else.
Okay. Uh,
My job isn't to answer questions.
what is your job?
He kind of looks around. But my job isn't to answer questions.
But as not your job as a friend asking questions. Because this isn't work anymore.
But I don't know who you are. You're not my friend.
My name's Octavia. My nickname is Pebble. You know, what's your name?
My name
Yeah,
is Bluck.
Bluck. Would you like to be my friend?
I'm not supposed to answer questions.
Well, if you don't want to verbally answer, would you be cool nodding like yes or no?
I'm not supposed to answer questions. You're gonna need to move along there, Octavia. You're not supposed to be here.
Not even for like fishing and stuff?
No, you can be over there for fishing, where you were a minute ago. But now you're over here, and you're not supposed to be here.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you.
Okay.
And then I'll like wander away.
I just love I love the circular logic of we're not supposed to answer questions.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So time's gonna pass. Sinenka, Octavia, you don't see Vice. Is there something in particular, something else you want to do that isn't the same thing you've already tried that hasn't worked, or is there something else that you're looking to do? Otherwise, I would like to kind of move forward.
Yeah, I was gonna just reconvene.
Okay. All right. So we'll say time will pass, sun will go down. You will all meet in the Liftwater Circle once more, filling each other, obviously, with what you've learned. And your pal Jimmy will show up, Vice. And you can see Jimmy's got two other people with him. These two really crusty-looking women. One of them looks to be Krostakaran, really sort of suntan, like kind of stringy looking like bones that are kind of almost look like hair. They're so worn down. And then there's kind of what looks like a very plump looking man that you don't think is human, but might be the same species that Burdock is. Kind of has that blue-gray skin and like a really big gut that's sticking out of a shirt that is certainly 2 sizes too small. But Jimmy will show up and will say, "You ready to get your 45%?
No, you got your words wrong there. It's your 45.
Okay, you're a smart one. All right, you were paying attention. Okay. Didn't work.
Kind of looks over at the heavyset guy. Just like,
So we're going for a sea dive. Okay. This is your crew here, these two.
Yes, we got Sonenka and Octavia.
Where's your gear? Where's your diving gear?
It's obviously, I thought you would supply it.
Right. For 45%. For 55%, maybe we supply it. Seems like we're doing all the work. Seems like we're the ones who supplying everything.
You keep increasing the price here. I'm not sure.
Okay. No reason to get upset. You can't blame a guy for trying to make a little scrap. All right, come on. I'll show you the ship.
Octavia
And-
knows better than to get into negotiations about money. She's just quiet.
This will go poorly.
Like, she's just probably thinking, yeah, I think giving them 55%, that sounds that sounds legit.
I think
It's
that
fine.
sounds like a great idea.
It's their equipment.
75
It's totally
is probably
fair.
better. Yeah, it makes sense.
But instead, she's like holding her hands, like.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you guys take the lift back down, and a different crew is up now. And there's some lights that are kind of floating. These orbs of light, these orangey orbs of light that are kind of floating around. You imagine are magical or technobabble in some way. But your friend Jimmy flashes what looks like some kind of small device and like kind of holds it up to one of the Husker guards, and they're let free, and like
Going for another dive.
and you guys are led to a rickety, horrible, how on earth is this still floating ship, which looks to be pieced together of like, there's like a car fender, there's like a grate, there looks to be like a mast that's made out of, you think at one point it might have been like a flagpole, you're not entirely sure. There's like an actual sail that's been wrapped up and tight, and when it kind of unfurls it a little bit, it has 1,000 small patches that have been pieced together. It looks like really, really old canvas of some kind. There's not a ton of room.
All of us, let alone the two.
Close it all, everybody. This thing has seen more action than you could imagine. Never let me down.
Kind of like slaps the side and a piece breaks off. Picks it up.
You got nothing to worry about. It's gonna be fine.
You say so. You're the expert.
I am the expert. I am the expert.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
guys look very knowledgeable.
I am very knowledgeable. Now get on this ship.
Oh, well, board it.
You take a couple
Octavia's
steps.
just like, aye, aye, Captain.
Every step, one of the panels kind of shifts a little bit. You're like, oh, geez. Yeah, you are not. You guys, none of you are sailor types, but none of you feel particularly confident in this thing. The last person to get on is the heavy-set Brecken, who unties the mooring and like steps on, and the thing just like wobbles off to the side, and then all of you kind of quickly, shuffle to the other side and even it out.
Redistribute the weight.
Yeah, we distribute the weight a bit. So there's like him and like maybe one other person, and everybody else is on the other side.
All right. Where are we going again? You said you had some special location.
And I'll direct them towards near the area where the ship's located.
Okay. All right. You guys are traveling for a bit. You tell me like,
Wait a second. That's where that iron tiller blockade is. What are you doing? What are you up to?
so he starts to kind of get a little suspicious. You guys are out on the water for a bit. You cannot see anything below the water. It is dark as can be. Like absolutely and utterly dark. You look up at the sky and you see like the illuminated like orbital stars, the various objects that just sort of float around in the sky, illuminated periodically. People make weird horoscopes and things out of it. You know that somewhere up in orbit, Vice, your dead god, is orbiting and like kind of drifting in some way. But you guys travel out there, and eventually, you're not really close to the city anymore. And you look back, and you can see on the you look back and you can see on the cliff, like there's periodic lights and stuff here. You can see up on the cliff itself, like way hundreds and hundreds of feet up in the air. You bump into something. You hear a, and you look over and you can see what looks like a broken, floating, rickety ship in the water that has been kind of ripped apart. And Jimmy turns to you. He's like,
we're gonna go ahead and take a pit stop. We're gonna get some of this for repairs. That's all right with you, Captain. No, wait, I'm the captain.
Yeah.
You don't get the sense that Jimmy's too bright. So they spend a few minutes like just sort of pulling over these pieces of this floating debris that again looks like a ship of some kind, like a small like rickety boat.
Can we assist so that it goes faster?
Sure. So you all reach over and you pick up these pieces floating in the water. Go ahead and anyone who's helping, make a notice whiz.
Seven.
Okay.
8.
Those of you who rolled an 8, you notice that there is a lot. There's like some intermixed with some of the debris. You see like a broken bone, a piece of body parts, like a finger kind of stuck and like kind of clawing to one side. It's soggy but recent. You get the sense that something happened to this ship.
Hey, Jimmy, I don't think this is safe. You seeing this?
Yeah, what could have brought the ship down?
What couldn't? There's things below the water here you don't want to have breakfast with, I'll tell you that. It's, you've got so many things. Oh boy. This one time, when we were down under, we faced a shark. Must have been the size of a really big shark. It just came right at us. Opened its mouth, and all these tiny little fish just flew on out and started biting, and that's when I lost me brother. He was the previous captain, but now I'm the captain. Crazy.
And yeah, and you can see as they're looking, a lot of them kind of get this solemn look on their face, like,
oh, poor Billy. He was a good one, he was. Ripped to pieces by the tiny little baby teeth from that giant shark. Shame. Anyway, off we go.
they just like, go back.
What's that like quote where it's like they go into the water and they don't always come out of the
Yeah,
water.
there's that. I thought it was gonna be like, it's like, go cage goes into the water. You go in the cage. Shark is in the water. It's from Jaws. I'm doing it wrong. I'm paraphrasing. I'm hungry. I'm sorry. My brain's not working. Okay. Oh, we got bits. We gotta start a fire. So, one of the lanterns. Yeah, one of the lanterns that the large Brecken, Brecken is carrying to help you kind of navigate, just suddenly bursts, and you see this liquid fire just begin to coat the front portion of the ship. And he's all like, Captain, need help, as this fire just slowly begins to spread along the floor of the ship. What do you guys do?
Just try to start grabbing seawater. Just toss up.
Okay. So you start reaching in and throwing the seawater, and he's like, and all of a sudden Jim's like, no,
Wait.
don't do that. And you see as you do, the water just kind of makes it even worse as the fire begins to spread even further. You frickin' twat, you. Octavia and Vice, what do you want to do? It's not a big ship, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 1/8 of the ship is currently now in flames.
Maybe try smothering it or like kicking the pieces that are caught on fire off.
Okay, you want to go ahead and do that? Sure.
Yeah, I'll help with that.
Okay, both of you roll exert dex tests, as this is more about like taking whatever you have to try to beat the fire down. Higher the better. 6 will pass, but you'll take damage. 8 or higher is good.
That's 7.
Okay. So
6,
both
I take
the two of you
damage.
managed to help beat the fire back to just the very, very tip of the ship. But both of you are going to go ahead, and as you're doing, you're going to take a little fire damage back, as you'll each take 4 points of fire damage, a 4 and a d4, as you see these strange burns begin to appear on your arms, and your fingers going to burn through some of your packs here and there, and like it's almost like a sludge. It's like this kind of growing strange little bit of like liquid fire. Sonika, are you going to continue to throw water on the fire?
No, but I'll sort of ask why that didn't work well while I look for like a blanket or something.
Do you know the sulfur chemicals in this water here? You're liable to... You never really know. You throw it on something, it can make it explode. It can make it go out. Who knows what it can do, you stupid git, you.
Just kind of
Well,
like
maybe you
just
should be
ripping
more
into
careful with your lanterns then, if this place is so damn flammable.
Are you
Uh,
speaking ill of my crew? That's a real bold thing to do out here in the water. 3 of you not knowing nothing about the gunk water. 3 of us, we know what we're doing.
Now,
You
Sonika, take
Clearly
it easy.
don't seem to know what you're doing. Have I found a blanket or something to toss over it?
Vice, you can see all of the crew now as the tiny tip of the boat is kind of being smothered by the Brecken guy. They're all kind of exchanging looks at this point.
Hold up. Don't take her too seriously. She doesn't know. She's just panicked. She's uncharted territories. It's okay. When we get back, you can have her part, her percentage.
Oh, well, okay then. Perfect. Excellent.
And that's what a charisma better than 5 gets you in social situations.
So the last bits of the fire get, but both of you, both Octavia and Vice, as Chuck's fire has now damaged you all for 4 points damage apiece. Okay. You guys continue to travel off and you get closer and closer until eventually, Vice, you can notice, and Sonica, actually all three of you can probably notice at this point, is you are in this section of water where it's just flat and eerie. Like there's like no waves, no current, everything other than like the ripples of your boat traveling. Like there's no anything. It's just dead. Chunks of things float by in the water left and right. Occasionally you see a slight subtle ripple off to the side and like splashing off in the darkness. Something's here, something's there. You're not really sure what. But you notice there's at least these 3 large mounds on the horizon that you can tell. And they're slowly drifting and moving. And they have this sort of general silhouette of the same ship that you saw by the docks. And they're all just slowly moving about. No lights whatsoever on them. The only light you have are from the various satellites that are shining down from the sky. What do you guys want to do?
You said there's silhouettes that we can make out?
There's ships, basically. Yeah, you can see it like on the horizon. You're close enough that you can literally imagine like a submarine that's like half out of the water, and that's basically what's happening now. You're seeing like 3 of them sort of moving around. These are the Iron Tilla ships. And Jimmy will look over at you like, all right, smarty pants, this is the place you wanted to go to.
Yeah,
You ready to go diving?
Are we?
How's it work?
It's pretty easy. You put on one of them suits over there. You take one of them belts right there. You wrap it around your waist, and down you sink. When you want to come back up, you undo the belt and you just float back up to the surface. And you gotta hope one of them sharks don't get you. Or worse.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Then we'll suit up.
The coral squids are the worst. Absolute worst. They eat you bit by bit over the course of like 2 years. They just wrap you up and they just shove you into their coral center mass and you just slowly decay over and over. They just wear you down bit by bit. That's how me mom died. Rest in peace, Mum.
That's awful. Do you want a hug?
Nah, that's alright. I don't really want to get close to one of you. You'll probably die here in a minute. This far out.
Octavia, I'm a goat. Like, I don't really want to be swimming.
What did we do with swimming earlier?
So,
not an ocean.
do you guys suit up to go? Are you diving? Like, this was all a bluff, and like the bluff has been called, by the way. Like, you're out here, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Go ahead and gear up." And you can see the big old Brecken guy. He's gearing up. The crusty Krastakaran lady's all gearing up.
It's like, you all coming down or what? Time to get in the water. Down into the gunk we go.
How do you board the ship then? If he's like Tila's, they're underwater, you're saying?
No, it's like a submarine that's like half out of water. Like, you know how submarines when they cruise on the surface, you can see like the bump of it. Or think about like the ironclad ships from like, you know, like Civil War times, like late 1800s, like they're going in the river and thing like that, and you can see the sort of metallic top to them. But you guys know that there's like they're half above water, half below.
Yeah. Is there a way we can like signal to the ship? like with lights or something, like a universal, like.
We set a fire so they know we're here.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
true.
Okay. Roll a. This is gonna be a hard DC 10. No
Okay.
int Octavia. If you know if any sort of language, SOS type stuff.
This is
for,
not a good roll for me.
Yes,
so we'll
DC
see.
10.
That's a 1.
So-
Nice.
Yeah. You set the boat on fire again. No, you
They're
have
fire
no
ranger.
idea. You have no idea. You don't even know if they can see out of here.
I'm gonna
You're not even
turn
sure.
to Captain and be like, I'm gonna look briefly at Sinenka and Vice, and then just be like, okay, so, and she like looks again, like, are you guys cool if I spill the beans?
Oh yeah, I'll give the.
So, we have been asked to acquire some shipments that have not been able to get off the ships. Would
Wait
you
a
know?
second. You all are smugglers? Why didn't you say so? God,
Not
why
yet.
the beat around the bush? We were about to go into the dark gunk tonight. What is wrong with you lot? I thought you all had a suicide pact or something. Okay.
No.
We can get on board with smuggling too. You silly idiots. What's wrong with you? Okay. Percentage is still the same and we still get hers, right?
And nothing's changed.
Okay. Alright, take the
But-
suits off then. What's wrong with you?
If we could form get this going, because I'm pretty sure they want some consistent shipments. So this could be a long-term gig for you if it goes all right.
Everybody sit up. Posture check.
Long-term gig? You mean you want steady smuggling? Okay.
Our boss might, yeah.
How's your boss?
Who's your boss?
I'm my own boss. I'm self-employed.
Oh, all right. I appreciate
We
that.
freelance, so
I don't want to talk to that one.
Ruvala's like my bro. He's
Ruvala.
the coolest. Yeah.
He kind of racks his brain a bit, looks at the other. You'll know someone named Ruvala.
The Krastakaran lady speaks out.
Yeah, I heard of one named Ruvala. One of them tall, big-eyed fellas.
He's so cool.
I know nothing about that, personally, but
Like, he
I
sent
hear
us
he's-
to this lake, and we killed people.
okay. I know, that's fine. I don't care to kill people. Wait a second. Did you bring us out here to kill us?
Oh, no, you guys are cool. You're a captain. What are you talking about?
Anyway, what are we doing here?
So,
trying to get on those ships.
Yeah, get Ruvala's shipment.
Was my friend? I don't really want to hear from this one. Just luckily I didn't push her off into the water at some point. And don't think I'm still not considering it on the return journey. No one
true.
speaks to their captain like she did. That's mutiny. You know what we do with mutineers?
Take
I
her
just
cut.
told you we throw them in the water and we take their cut.
Okay. What if I could help like fix the ship? I've been learning some stuff with with stone. I know that stone's a little different. But I
You
work
see
in
any
stone
stone
shop.
on this ship here? What's wrong with
Yeah,
you?
but
You
my
stone would
crafting-
sink right to the bottom of the freaking ocean.
Yeah, that's true. And then Octavia's just like, I tried.
All right, enough of this charade. Let's get on board.
What are we doing? You won't get on board? Okay. Now, there's a very subtle way to communicate with these iron telefolk. It's a very crafty language only a few of us in the know happen to know.
If you
And-
just scream.
Your old Jimmy fella, well, he definitely knows the the complex subtleties of this type of communication.
And you see him like rummaging around in a sack, and he gets out what looks like a giant brass trumpet, and he just goes over and over again. A couple moments go by, and you see one of the silhouettes of the Iron Tilla. You see a kind of a lid open up, and you hear coming back. And
Okay, they've agreed to meet. Let's get on closer.
And he kind of orders them around, and eventually this ship kind of gets up close. And you get right up next to this vessel that's got its lid, that's got like the lid entry open, and you can see there's what looks like, a human's got an eye patch on, but the eye patch is like this metal insert, and you can see that there's this small, tiny crystal that the minute you guys get close, it kind of starts to glow, and you see this tiny little laser kind of come out, and then unfold into a bunch of different lasers and just seems to sort of scan over y'all. And they call out to you, and the figure, this kind of like thick, stocky woman, says, "I hear you're coming for trade. What is it you got to trade us?"
I will display the ancient text that I picked up earlier this evening.
Okay. It's a bit piddly, isn't it? Come all this way just for that. But you've got some decent finds here, sure. What is it you're looking for?
I believe it's like the Revolve's shipment we're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of them, and then Sonika, you had the other.
Yep.
Oh.
And Octavia like looks at Vice like should I talk? Should I not talk?
Right. You'll just, I guess you'll explain to me what we would want from, and then I'll just let them know. Rivala's been looking for this. You have it here.
We do indeed. So, you're working with the tall drink of water, are you? That's good to hear. Okay. I'm not sure you've got enough here, though.
It was what we could do in a short amount of time. There's always more in the bucket, though.
Roll a convince charisma.
Ooh.
My not specialty.
Oh, no.
See how it goes.
Go to 7.
All right. I'll tell you what. Vala has something for us, too. Figuring that you all can find your ways out here just fine. Maybe you can bring it with you next time. We'll take what you've got here for now, and we'll give you a bit of his stock on credit. But if you want it all, you're gonna have to come back with what he owes us.
Oh, what does he owe you guys?
Oh, that's between Rovala and us, that is. You're just the middle folk.
I wonder if it's the dirt that we had to go get.
I'll give you half of his hold for this stuff on credit.
So Nico will speak up and ask, by chance, are you still holding anything for Xenia? Or did that already get delivered to the warehouse?
Can't say I know Xenia. What is it that that fine little person wanted from us?
As like the light comes over to you now and kind of scans over you as they're talking.
I was some crates of specialty booze.
Booze? We don't much deal in booze. But but we got all fine bits of hops and wheat from the north. Maybe that's what you're looking for. Ingredients for the booze.
Is that what it was? I didn't.
More than likely.
Yeah.
That would work.
Well, it would work for you, but in order to work for us, what you're giving to me is this fella over here paid for half of Ruvala's holdings, but didn't pay for none of those. What do you got to trade there?
Trying to think if I had anything. I'll just say I've got some scrap.
Scrap, huh? That's it. Nothing more special than that. You ain't got any little fancy doohickeys or gizmos and such.
I thought I had one little thing back from like our very first trip. Like
Okay.
a little something that we didn't sell.
Do you remember what it did? From the military depot?
Yeah, because I thought there was a bunch of things that we picked up and we didn't necessarily sell.
There was a remote control orb that you can kind of move an orb around.
Yeah, because I still have the handheld projector.
Mm-hmm. And the
I'm
stuff
not-
from the Baphomian, the dead folk that you found inside.
Yeah. But I'm holding on to that because Baphomian bros.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are
It's
okay
probably the
with that-
projector. It's probably the projector. That's what it is. Or not the remote control orb.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Oh. Well, this is a nice find. Why you want to get rid of it? It seems so useful, doesn't it? Moving the ball of light all manner of this way and that.
This is how trade works. It needs to be of value for me to get what you have of value, so can't be too attached to it.
Okay. Roll a convince, and you can use whatever mental stat you want for that one, since you're kind of doing a little bit of everything. DC 6.
5.
I'll tell you what. We'll take that little doohickey you got there, and what say you throw 200 scrap on top of it, and we'll give you a couple crates of the hops and the wheat from the Bramble Country. How about that? Final offer.
I sort of look around at the fact that we're in the open water and just sort of say, I think I have no choice but to accept.
No, don't be thinking we're gonna hurt you. That's not the way that we do business. We signaled the sound of peace and commerce when we blew the horns. No violence shall happen here while you're under the protection of the brass.
I think I'm turning into Barbosa from Pirates of the Caribbean.
If
You
I
best start believing in ghost stories. You're in one.
if I could ask though, is there something that happened out here recently? We came across some wreckage and body parts not too far in the distance on our approach.
I can't say nothing about it, but it's true that there was a flock of coral squid that was moving through the area not too long before. They gave us a wee bit of a problem, but we gave 'em the old one too. But we think there's some still around. Boats like yours better be careful. The tentacles will come right up out of the water. Luckily our holes are just a wee bit too strong for 'em.
Well, that's good for you, not good for us.
Maybe you're fortunate, and you get back just fine. Maybe you're not. And tomorrow morning we recollect all little goods that are floating in the water from where your ship got sunk. Either way, it's still gonna cost you 200 scrap in that there doohickey.
When she did her weird eye thing over Vice, did she notice the moon gorilla in his body?
If she did, she didn't make any sort of movement about it.
Okay. Octavia's gonna ask her about the people who were in quarantine.
See, like, her face gets scrunched up. She's angry.
They took our brothers and sisters and they just put them in that little shop of theirs. Those cruel, two-faced gem folk.
That's, I've never really been okay with that, but it looks like we could enter from above or below. If you've thought of it.
Oh, we thought of it. But doing that is a bit dangerous, don't you think? You know what they want. They've got their little drones crawling all through our little ships, trying to figure out how they tick. They're trying to cut us out, make their own fleet. Don't need us at all if they've got their own ships, do they? They make up some story about us bringing some kind of sickness. We're far healthier than the rest of you lot that's living up in that dirty, brown, coffin-filled streets. We're out on the seas, not just this gunky, brackish water, but in the far seas, where the satellites fall with regularity from the skies and we loot all of the finest pickings.
Let's. And she's gonna turn to Vice and Sanenka and be like, "What if we help them get them out?"
So it sounds like you need some help then. The crew of yours is being held up.
That's not even just crew. That's family.
All crew are family, and all family are crew. You know nothing about us, do ya?
I am Baphomian, so I haven't seen too
We've
much.
got folk like you on our ships. Not many, mind you, but a few. Terrible in the water they are, but fierce they are when it comes to swinging the sword.
Oh, I would love to meet them one day.
Well, right now, you're just acquaintance. We don't let acquaintance on our boats.
Octavia looks at Sanenka and Vice and be like, "I want to be crew family."
Can you tell us more about the thorn in your neck? Is there someone holding you up?
A thorn in our neck? What do you mean there? Speak plainly.
Is someone getting in your way?
It's these gem folk. They're trying to steal our technology. They want to make their own ships. They've tried before, but they don't know how our engines work. How we be so heavy and yet be able to go underneath the sea at any moment we want and come right back up. They're looking for our scanning tech too that allows us to see all the way to the bottom of the oceans. They want it all, they do. They've been asking us for years for it, but no, he said, we'll bring you your crops and we'll bring you your goods. But we need to keep a bit of this as our secret, or else suddenly there's no need for us no more. And now they're just trying to cut us out fully. And so they took that ship, and they're crawling around in it and they're trying to figure things out. And they probably will at some point. Smart as they are.
Seneca will pipe up an agreement and say, I was just outside the ship earlier today, and that is exactly what they were doing. They definitely had those little creatures of theirs nosing around inside.
Little drones with their blinky lights and their tickety-tack feet all ripping through the barrels. I mean the barrels of our babies. No thank you. No thank you at all. If If y'all want to help us, I'll tell you, we'd be obliged.
Thinking the same thing. We could help you get the shit back and your crew.
How do you reckon?
That's when Octavia's like, I had the idea about like the warehouse because it looks like you can get in from up top. And then well, no, I can only do it. I can do it twice. So then Octavia will commit effort and you'll watch as like her wings just kind of sprout from her back. And she's like, I could get into the roof.
Oh, blimey, you're devil, aren't ya? Just flying through the dark? That gives me the heebie-jeebies.
In like a good way, I hope.
As long as you're on my side.
And Senenka will share, I can actually focus my mind and be able to go without the need for air for 24 hours. So I could assist in coming up from below as well.
You're gonna go into the water all by yourself. That is brave. The ghosts that swim down below the docks, they might not let you leave.
Could surprise them on both above and below.
Oh, you are a bunch of corkers, aren't you? Well, I'll tell you what. You do this for us. Everything here's free of cost. And I'll tell you what else, we probably owe you a thing or two on top of it. But if those cabochon, those gem folk catch you, I don't think they gonna like you too much.
It was my own idea.
Might be a downright impossibility to continue living in them streets.
That wouldn't be a problem, but
If we survive first.
There is Bramble Country.
There are other places.
You see,
Oh, there's strange things afoot up in Bramble Country too. Strange things everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want passage, we'll take you up there. See what the folk will bring you, if they'll accept you. You ever wonder why you never meet anyone who's ever been to Bramble Country before? Why they never leave? 'Cause I tell you, we wonder. That's why all of us make sure we do our trading right there on our boats in the water. We don't go up into the tree line. Strange things in those woods. Strange. But if you want to go there, you get our family free. You bring our baby back to us, and we'll give you a ride, for sure we will.
How many of yours can you spare for this?
What do you mean, how many of ours
rescue
we
mission?
can spare?
I mean, there are three of us.
Oh.
There are far too many guards there for us to
well, maybe
overpower them.
they have some inside, right?
Indeed,
else?
there's at least 12. Maybe more.
That seems plenty already.
I thought you were going to be all stealthy about it. I didn't
Well, of
realize
course,
it was
that's
going to
the-
be a proper assault.
We will try to be stealthy, but it's still better to have a few numbers on your side in case stealth fails. Because, and she's just gonna double down on the whole boat thing, because things like fires get started when you don't intend to, and things don't go to plan.
Well, as long as no idiot tries to put the fire out with the water from the gunk, you'll probably be fine.
and you can see
Fair.
the
Fair.
Jimmy Captain is like,
Thank you, I'll get it, exactly. Say, this one gets it.
Yeah. So, we have the idea about getting them out of the warehouse. The ship, though, you have a captain in the warehouse who would be able to pilot it.
There's not a soul in that warehouse who wouldn't know how to pilot it.
That's
We
so
let
cool.
all crew and family know how to drive the babies.
I just want to see a ship that big one day. And
You're
like
looking at one
Octavia's
right now.
like on the inside. I have so many
Let's
questions.
just calm down. This is what we call in the industry a first date. Not ready to put a ring on it yet, are we?
And Octavia's like, yeah, sorry, I'm excitable.
I see that. It's a good trait to have. Better than that than being morose and boring.
Is her eye like on me doing the weird?
Yeah, any person they turn to talk to, like they should do a quick scan.
So, your eye is very cool. Is it appropriate of me to ask what you can see?
Oh, it's just scanning for a little bit of ancient tech is all, especially the weapon kind. Some folks like this one over here.
She kind of nods over towards Sonenka.
They like to put little things in them from time to time. Looks like that one is harmless. Just to make sure we know exactly the type of people we're talking with. We don't like being surprised too often.
I touched like a moon gorilla thing once. There's nothing in me, is there?
One of the ancients touched ya.
That's the ancients?
Oh, it's one of them. There's all sorts of ancients here. The history of this place is better told in the waves than on the shore. If one of them touched ya, that could mean either great fortune for ya, or great misery. I hope the former.
And Octavia's like her hands are sweating and she's like rubbing them on her hips. And she's like, I also hope.
I'll tell you this, though. My brother once was touched by the ancients down below when we were out beyond the far waters, and I'll say it was a sight to behold. We got in a wee bit of a fight from someone from the western continent, and he struck him down. He did, my poor brother, down on the ground, bleeding he was.
Oh gosh.
And then whatever was in him activated. My brother started moving again, ambulating left and right, fighting like I have never seen him fight before, doing things that he's never learned. And he took down every one of them, just as quick as that. But the thing was, when I talked to my brother afterwards, my brother wasn't there no more. There was something else behind those eyes. I thought he might strike me down right there for questioning him. I haven't seen my brother in 10 years now.
And Octavia's like, I don't know if this is supposed to make me feel better or more scared.
I'm just giving you information. That's all. Maybe.
Go ahead.
No, after you.
Have
I've
you
been talking a lot and my throat kind
Your
of
throat
hurts
sore?
right now.
I'm gonna keep asking you questions. Have you? So I work at a stone shop. I don't know if you've ever
Never heard of it. The complexities or the inner workings of the commercial venues within the city are a little bit lost on me. I know a few people here and there,
Gotcha.
like Ruvola, like you mentioned, but that's about it.
He's Huskorg, so he doesn't trade too much. I'm his apprentice. There's like a ghost in his basement, And then she'll like describe what it looks like. Have you ever seen one of those before?
Glitch gremlins, yeah, they're mighty mischievous, they are. Oh, the worst part about it is that where there's one, there's likely 1,000. They start working together on their little network brain, and they get these ideas in them. There's never just one.
That's great. How do you have any suggestions on how to deal with that?
You better move is what you should do. They took over one of our babies once. They sure did. We tried as we could to get them out, but didn't quite work. And then when there were 12, there were suddenly 24. When there were 24, there were 48, and they just kept doubling and doubling until we had to blow the whole ship down into the bottom of the sea, we did. But even down there, they kept moving. You can't hurt them. They tether themselves to various nodes and places. There's a whole section of the sea where no one goes anymore because that's where we sunk them. And down there, they're operating something fierce, I'm sure. Something fierce indeed. Some say they originated up there in the heavens. And one of those beautiful days when the satellites fell into the waters, they brought down with them the gremlins. Those ghostly, foolish folk. If they're in your city, it's just a matter of days before they take it all over. I gotta tell ya, considering recent events, that puts a wee bit of a smile on me face. This is me smiling.
That might, yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, okay. And then that's when Octavia she's got a lot of information brewing in her brains now, and she doesn't have much wisdom, so I think she's at her little limit. She's gonna be like, if you guys have it, the floor is yours.
No, you've given us quite a deal of information. We'll take it as is and try and help you out here.
Oh, that sounds like it's very reasonable. What say we meet up again tomorrow? Same place, same time, and maybe you'll be bringing our friends and our family home with you. Does that sound all right?
Sounds
That's
like a
the
great
plan.
time.
But if you want to go more quickly, I wouldn't say no.
What time is it now?
I don't really know. The sun's not out, and the stars are always so difficult to tell the time by. All sorts of different that they are. But it's nighttime is what it is.
Probably first half of the night. Still.
Oh,
To Jeff.
you can bet your bottom dollar on it. There's no Jeff anymore. There's just this lady who looks very much like Jeffrey Rush from Pirates of the Caribbean. She's hideously ugly, unfortunately.
That's right. She's a cool lady. Yeah, no, then I think we'd like to.
Her
probably start
name's
heading out.
Barbara Osa.
Barbara Osa.
That's her name.
Funny. It's canon now.
It is indeed. We've got plenty of them on the baby.
I'm messing around with how to spell it.
Barbara Osa it is.
It's not Liviosa. It's Liviosa.
It's like Karayat. It's got that little apostrophe in it, like
Barbara Osa. There's an inflection point there is. Just so we don't get copyright infringement on other people. All right.
Let's get to it then.
I'll tell you what, you can take the stuff we've given you already. We'll hold on to what you've paid for now, but we'll return your scrap and your little doohickey should such time come where you've met the New Deal's arrangements.
That sounds fair, thank you.
Consider it escrow. All right, then.
Octavia's like, what's escrow?
And Sonenka just sort of shrugs. This is beyond our business acumen.
What a wonderful night it's been. And I hope that your journey back to the city doesn't get you dead.
Do you have any tips for killing those squid things should they appear?
Fire all your cannons at them at once.
And if you don't
You've
have a
got-
cannon, what else works?
Well, just go real fast then.
Fair enough. Good evening,
Meeting you.
Barbara. Osa.
See ya, dudes.
And closes the hatch. All right. So after that conversation, Captain Jimmy is like behind, just like,
You all are gonna attack the whole frickin' deck now, are ya? And implicate us, and
Not quite.
I gotta tell ya.
Setting some hostages free.
looks at Vice as if Jimmy's just waiting for something.
I think you know what to do.
Oh, what does he
Say
say?
the magic words.
Magic word.
Increased percentage.
You know, Jimmy, you've helped us quite a lot just getting out here. You know what else is gonna help you? Fatten your pockets for helping us.
All right. Okay, there we go. I got it back. This is Jimmy's one, let's say. Okay. Fattening me pockets with increased percentage. We'll keep you a secret. But, we want that one's cut too.
Points over at Octavia.
I wasn't getting a cut.
We want all of it then. Every wee bit, or we're going right to the cabochon and telling them every little bit that we just heard. Either that,
You see them all like suddenly take out weapons.
or you're swimming back.
Now you don't need to threaten us. 'Cause you know that you'll end up, and we'll take out weapons as well.
We do we?
It's gonna go.
Oh, see, keep going back to Barbosa.
Okay. You're gonna play like that? You're gonna play dirty? Can't just give us more money, can you? More scrap. You gotta pay and try to take it all. There ain't no way you would have even gotten out here and having that conversation if not for us. You would still be back in the city. You owe us. More.
I mean, how much
Yeah, I don't even know
percentage
how
are they
much
already getting?
money
I think
scoped
you've
out right
already.
I don't know.
there's so much.
Basically, if you want to promise them scrap money, something like they want more
fine.
money.
Yeah,
Like that's
of
all they
course.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
At
if,
this
like,
point, like we want to get to the rest of the mission, so like
Okay.
Sonenka will just sort of, just kind of brush her hands, like whatever.
Okay. All right. So you promise them more money, and they.
I think you've got blood dry worse than I have so far.
Yeah, what?
When Ravala got me pretty good.
Okay. So you guys get back on the ship, or you guys, settle back in.
Mm-hmm.
Tempers lessen, tensions die, and you begin a journey back. And on the journey back, uneventful, as you once again pull into the dark port that is the Drowning Docks, and we'll pick up on that next time and see how
God.
how this heist
Mission
goes.
Part 2.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'm so excited to get to use my spell. Maybe, hopefully, we'll see.
I don't know if you want to go in that water.
Yeah.
You definitely don't want to go in that water.
It's got some stuff to it, but I have the spell and I've been wanting to use it.
When you ignited the fire worse, I don't know if you want to put your body in.
But I don't have to eat or breathe or do anything for 24 hours. I'll put a suit on. It'll be fine.
Okay, I'm just looking for somewhere to
Yeah.
write. All right, so I think we're gonna go ahead and close it down for tonight. Then, thank you for everybody who hung out. Thank you for the handful of bits we got. Definitely appreciate that. We will be back next Saturday. We'll do some more Worlds Without Number. I think we're getting close to the end of season 1 of Welcome to the Husk. We'll soon be switching to something else, but we still got a little bit of life left in this one, I think. We'll probably see whether or not this little mission works out, and then we'll probably call that end of season 1. If you want,
we'll all die trying, and that'll happen too.
One way or the other. Then we'll say Monday, if you want to come back, hang out with us. We're playing some Ultraviolet Grasslands. If you want to come hang out there, 9 p.m. Central on our channel. Ultraviolet Grasslands is like psychedelic Oregon trails. We do like a journey through these crazy wasteland. Then next Friday, you can catch us playing some Delta Green. We are closing in on the end of part 2 of Impossible Landscape. Could be next Friday, actually, as we had a banger of an episode last night.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. And then you can catch Melissa and I elsewhere. We're on Defenders of Cobalt every other Saturday. I'm on there every Wednesday. Tomorrow night, over on Steam Still Murder, playing some Shadowrun as well. And then I also hang out on Garp Games on Tuesdays, where we play Call of Cthulhu, Mask of Nyarlathotep. A lot of great content creators out there, and we weasel our way into their games, and they do the same for us. So it's really, really fun. But that's about it. I'm going to throw us on the end screen, find someone to raid or whatever, and yeah, that's it. So have a good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.